Good evening. It's a little quiet here, so we have to make some noise, okay? My name is Professor Louis Grasso. I manage the Media Studies program here at Mercer University, and I want to welcome you all to the 42nd Annual Quill Awards ceremony. Let's hear it. Each year at this time for 42 years, we've been celebrating students for excellence in coursework. We've been honoring an alumni from the program that's working in the field, and also a professional in the field that's telling us what's going on in reality. And we have a very good speaker this year as well. But that means we have consistency. Every year we do this. But before we go any further, we have to invite, and I'm very honored to invite, the 13th president of Mercer University. Please welcome Dr. Susan Parrish.
Thank you. Good evening. It is absolutely my privilege to welcome you to the 42nd Annual Quill Awards at Mercer University. This is an evening that is dedicated to celebrating excellence, creativity, and the transformative power of media. Tonight, we recognize the incredible work of our students in the Media Studies program, as well as the ongoing achievements of alumni and professionals who continue to shape the media landscape. Our Media Studies program doesn't just teach communications, it empowers the storytellers, journalists, and creative voices who will shape tomorrow's media landscape. Here at Mercy, students find their unique voice and develop the skills to share their voices across every platform, from breaking news and compelling features to broadcast media, public relations, and corporate communications. This is where passion meets purpose, and where the next generation of media professionals begins their journey. I'd like to take a moment to extend a heartfelt thank you to Dean David Wang, Media Studies Program Director, Professor Lou Grasso, and the outstanding faculty and staff of the School of the Liberal Arts. Could you please stand so that we can thank you? Stand. Give to our students, your dedication to our students, to the arts and humanities, and your tireless support of events like this make all the difference. I also want to congratulate all of tonight's student honorees. Can you please stand? Please stand. The Quill Awards recognize what we already know to be true. The journalists, storytellers, and creative voices gathered here tonight are not students preparing for the future of media. You are the future of media. Your work, your perspectives, and your commitment to the craft will shape how tomorrow's stories are discovered, told, and shared. We're also so proud to highlight those who continue to shine beyond their time here at Mercy. This year's Quill Award for Outstanding Alumna goes to Nicole Acosta, who is a staff writer for People magazine. Congratulations, Nicole. Your career is just starting, and I know you will do great things. And tonight, we are also especially honored to present the Quill Award for Professional Achievement to David Elliot, a Tony-winning producer, director, and theater manager who has brought powerful stories to life on stage. We are so thrilled to have you with us. As I look around this room, I see the next generation of fearless journalists who will hold power accountable, something we need more today than any other time in our history, I would argue. We also have the innovative storytellers who will move hearts and minds, and bold creative voices who will transform how stories are conveyed across every platform. The future of media is being written by each of you right now. Congratulations again, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Parrish. The Quill Awards are really a very important event. I guess you got that by now. But I also want to acknowledge the presence of our Vice President and Provost, Dr. Kristen Greenwood. Give her a round of applause, please. Next up, we have the Dean of the School of Liberal Arts. So the Media Studies program is in the School of Liberal Arts, as it is. It's been like that for years. And the Dean right now, Dr. David Wong, is here to say a few words on behalf of the school. Please welcome Dr. David Wong.
So as we live and work in the age of AI and technology, human skills, like all these professionals and students presented, is even more important. And congratulations to all of you guys. And you remind us, right, the future will not be shaped by AI technology alone, will be shaped by a human being with such creativity, curiosity, and intelligence. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Wong. The Media Studies program was started back in 1983. Back then, it was just a journalism program. But over the years, it has grown into media, radio, television, films, etc. And we've been honoring people, professionals in the field from those areas. But we have a big group of students that like to take performance and acting courses. And I turned to the committee and said, we need somebody from this field that could really represent us more effectively. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce a faculty member to introduce the award for that person, because the faculty member is our performance professor. Please welcome Professor Mark Palmieri.
Thank you. That was really nice. Oh boy, it is such a delight to introduce my dear old friend, collaborator, colleague, hero, really, for over 25 years, David Elliot, for tonight's Professional Achievement Award. I wrote down a few comments about David. David and I really got to know each other after he signed on as a producer for a play of mine back in 2001. At the home of a small but well-known spot called 29th Street Repertory, just sort of below Midtown there. It was about a 9 or 10 week stretch of work, and I had seen David at work before. He had directed a wonderful production of Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus, right? And kind of blew me away. And it was like a really great honor and boon to our production of my play when David came aboard. It was really, really important. This wasn't a big budget show. we can agree. We were what the Actors Union establishes as a showcase contract, very minimal pay to everyone involved. Very strict rules about ticket prices and budgets, and it was a small stage theater where, in New York, of course, incredible things can happen. People see it. Rent and Urinetown started, for instance, like in tiny stages. So it's all very exciting, and anything can really happen. That's one of the things that I love about David. He gets involved in projects really at all levels. So I'd like to think that play was the pinnacle of David's career, but that's simply a bad joke. David has produced, directed, general managed at the highest levels of American and British theater. Some of the plays and musicals David has brought to the stage include multiple Tony-winning productions on Broadway, Olivier Award nominations on London's West End, and off-Broadway almost uncountable Drama Desk and Outer Critics Circle and Obie Awards, including for one of the most socially consequential works in the last 25 years, which was a play called The Exonerated. It was a derived theater piece drawn from first-hand stories from people wrongly convicted and incarcerated, ultimately freed through the work of attorney Barry Scheck and the Innocence Project. One audience member had this to say after she saw that show. "What has been done tonight through this play is one of the most extraordinary events I have ever seen, and it will do more to promote justice than any literary effort I have ever seen." And that was Janet Reno, the former Attorney General of the United States. I think my Aunt Janet said something similar about my play. The thing is, these credits, these wild accomplishments, are not the reason that I nominated David for this. It's something else. He is purely the nicest person I've ever met in the business of theater. The warmest and most encouraging and humblest and most positive maker of things, theater. It's a business, like many, where such people, even if they began with those qualities, lose them fast. David taught me by example that if one commits to a sense of goodness in what one pursues, surrounds oneself with goodness, then the best of all possible things will happen. We have to believe that, and David gives me that example. Through ups and downs, dry spells, great runs, David is the same person. He loves the outcome of what anyone who is acting out of a passion for creativity is working towards. He's a living example of how important it is, and this is for us here right now, how important it is to be easy to work with, to bring excitement and positivity to the people you work with, to make people know you are happy to just have a chance to be working. During our first project, as we headed into what many in the theater call Hell Week, which is really called, for the people that know, Tech Week. That's when all the designers and technicians integrate the performance with the elements they're responsible for, like lighting, sound, wardrobe, etc. When we're all bracing ourselves for a rushed and maddening mess of a sprint towards the first press previews, hoping press actually shows up, it's the eve on which everyone freaks out. No matter what the size of the production, Broadway, there's never enough time, never enough money going into tech. It's Hell Week. It's a terrifying and soul-crushing hour. But David said, I'll never forget this, in our final production meeting, "I love tech." And that moment really changed me. I'll never forget it. When I'm at work now, any kind of work with so much ahead of me that seems impossible, whatever it is, and we all know what being overwhelmed is like, what it feels like. And I remember, I go to that, I remember him saying that. "I love tech." Because I think what he meant was, I love that I get to do this, even when it's hard. And if you find a career, a life like that, then you're a success. It's my huge honor to introduce such a person, David Elliot.
Mark, you forgot to give David the award.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I didn't come up here totally unprepared. I did stick my speech in. Well, Mark, I am overwhelmed by your remarks, and I just want to thank you so much for inviting me to come here today, and Dr. Parrish and Dr. Greenwood and Professor Grasso for seeing fit to have me come and speak to you tonight. So Mark has told you a good bit about me, which is really humbling and which allows me to speak not about what I've done, but kind of what I've figured out over the years in doing all this and how to build a life in the work you love. Tom Hanks remarked on some advice he got early on in his career by a director. And I think it's some of the best career advice you can ever get. He said, show up on time, know the text, and have an idea. That's it. Show up prepared, contribute to the work, have something to offer. It sounds almost too simple, but it's rarer than you would think when people actually do all three. So, no matter what it is that you're doing, if you can wake up each day and commit to it, do that thing with the intention and honesty and integrity, you are already well on your way. The cliche that if you do what you love, it's not really work, it's true because, well, that's what makes it a cliche. It is true. Sometimes you just know what that is, and sometimes you stumble onto it. For me, it was a little of both. I was in junior high school, which I think today is middle school. We were goofing around with some friends, and we snuck into the auditorium in my high school, and they were in the middle of rehearsal for the great Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, The Sound of Music. And my friends got quickly bored and left, but I stayed in the balcony and I just watched the rehearsal. I wasn't quite sure what they were doing, but I knew it was something that I wanted to find out more about, and I kept going back. I think I went back every day that week until they went into Tech Week. And then at that point in my life, I didn't have the patience for it because I didn't really want to sit through dozens of cues getting set into a lighting board. Although at that time, I don't even know if they had a lighting board. So I sat up there in the dark watching, and that's when I got the bug. And since then, I've spent nearly my entire professional life in the theater, and I've sat in a lot of dark rooms. As a producer, as a director, but it really began with me as a kid, sitting alone in that balcony. So the first thing is, find out what it is that you love, and say yes to it. Richard Branson, who you might know is the founder of Virgin Records and Virgin Airlines and a host of other things, he said, if someone offers you an amazing opportunity to do something, and you're not sure you can do it, say yes, and then learn how to do it later. And I love that, because it captures something true that the more cautious version of career advice never quite admits. You'll almost never feel fully ready. No one does. The question is how to get on the field anyway, because that's the only way to find out what you're capable of. Saying yes is harder than it sounds because it implies commitment. There's risk. It means you can no longer protect yourself with the comfortable fiction that you would have been great if only you'd had the chance. And saying no is easy, but if you say it often enough, you'll eventually wonder, and really maybe for a long time, what would have happened if you'd had the chance. I know because I got a call one night from a friend who was putting on a show, and I said yes, and I've been grateful ever since. Because the second thing is, and Dr. Parrish said this already, that in some way, we're all storytellers, right? And that's what you all are intending to do. The question is, what is the story that you want to tell? In this case, the storyteller is someone you know well, the brilliant playwright and professor, Mark Palmieri. And his show was called Carl II, which he talked about earlier. And we produced it in New York City, in a small theater, not long after September 11th. We were about a mile above ground zero. You could literally still smell the smoke in the air. And Carl was a great play. It was clever, it was touching, it was hilarious. And it was everything you'd want in a show. And we were all wondering the same thing. Is it okay to laugh again? And we decided the answer was yes. Now keep in mind, we did the show pre-internet. There was no social media, no algorithms, and Mark reminded me when we spoke last week about how we all waited at the newsstand for Time Out magazine to come out because the review was there. And it turned out that Time Out loved the show. We extended the run. Mark's work was published, and there was even a heady moment where a big New York producer came down, or sent somebody from our office anyway, and we thought that we might move the show. It didn't happen, but it really didn't matter. We also found out later that another company, a couple years later, a small troupe was putting on Mark's play, and we said, oh, we've got to go see this. And it was in a really small theater, and it was really amateur. But you know what? They committed to it. They brought all the same joy and dedication to the play, and the play still worked. Which is a sign that it was actually still a very good play. I mean, Mark's a very talented writer. So here's what I want you to take from that story. We said yes, and we brought something into the world that wasn't there before. And for the people in that theater that saw Carl, In that particular moment in New York City's history, we made the world a little bit better. I really believe that. And of the nearly 90 productions that I've done, and I say this, and I say this to Mark every time, Carl was truly one of my favorite experiences I've ever had. I built props, I sold tickets, I poured wine at intermission. You know, Mark mentioned about, raising money about that show. I'm going off script here, but there was a guy that George, who was the director of the show, asked. He said, "Peter, we're raising money for the show, and we'd love you to give us some money." And Peter said, "Well, I'd be delighted to give you $1,000." And George said, "Well, Peter, we need $2,000." And Peter said, "All right, I'll give you $2,000, but I'm not delighted." So why did that work? And it's because of the people. And the third thing is this: it's always the people. We're in the relationship business. I teach a class on producing in New York, and I always begin with the distinction that the big difference between the film industry, which is a sweeping, massive thing, is called the industry, and in the theater we call it the theater community. It's small, it's insular, and it's built entirely on relationships. It always starts with the play itself, an author sitting alone in front of a laptop. The words come first, the author's vision, or if you're writing a script or if you're doing journalism, it's the seed of everything, isn't it? Then a director comes in, and then a cast, and then the designers, the stage manager, the crew. We get to go into tech. Each new person who enters the room expands the relationship outward, from the page to the rehearsal hall to the theater itself. And then we bring in the missing member, the audience. That relationship between that story being told and the people in the seats receiving it is everything. It's the only reason any of us are in the room. And I've worked on productions that have been nominated for and have won the Tony Award and Olivier's and Drama Desks and Obies, and what I remember isn't the nominations or the wins. What I remember are the nights that I would stand in the back of the house and you could feel the audience either holding its breath at the moments of tension or exploding with laughter at the comedy. And that's the stuff that matters. Not the statues, not the accolades, it's those moments. So take Carl. Mark's play. The show itself was extraordinary, but it's only a little part about what I remember. What I really remember are the 20 or so people that I worked with, the people that made it happen brilliantly. The actors, the creative team, the entire crew, because that's what stays with you. So be someone people remember, and be a delight to work with. You'll make friends. You'll get invited back. So the last thing I'll leave you with comes with a question. There's a director that I admire enormously named Bill Ball. Bill was the founder of the American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco. He used to gather his company before every production and ask one question. He used to say, how will we measure the success of this production? And it's a question I've come back to multiple times because it applies to any job, really, any effort, any life. In the theater, of course, we want to sell tickets, we want to put on a great show, but there is so much more to it. So how do we measure the success of this production? How do you measure the success of your time here? And I've landed on two measures. First, did I bring something into the world that wasn't there before, and did it matter to someone? And second, when you leave the room, do people say, that's someone I want to work with again? If the answer to both is yes, whatever the job, whatever the finances look like, whatever the critics say, you've achieved something. You have been lucky enough to do what you love in the company of people you care about, who hopefully care about you, in the service of stories that need to be told. As Dr. Parrish said, the stories that you're telling today are more important than ever. So I'll let you in on a little secret. No one really knows anything for sure. Some are more prepared than others, certainly, but no one got in the room without first saying yes. So show up, get in the room. You don't need to have all the answers before you get there, but come prepared. Come with an idea worth sharing, and know you will bring yourself, which is so unique, something that wasn't there before you arrived, and you will add to the story, you'll make it worth telling. And equally, you'll make it worth listening to. And that is the only kind of success I know of worth measuring. Thank you so much.
All right, it's wonderful to get professionals in to talk about their experiences. It says a lot about the depth of the field. At this time, we're supposed to honor the alumnus, the outstanding alumnus, but Professor Prada is on his way. He's not here, he's on his way. And Nicole understands, she's waiting for him because she wants Professor Prada to give her the award. So we're going to skip that, and when Professor Prada comes in momentarily, because he did text me and tell me he's on his way, we'll get back to that. But we're going to move on to the program awards, the student awards, right? The student awards, why you're all here, right? The student awards. We're very lucky to have Professor Stephen DeRosa teaching cinema studies. He's an author, he's a filmmaker, among other things he does. But please welcome Professor Stephen DeRosa.
Good evening, all. This is always one of the highlights of the year, getting to acknowledge and celebrate the student achievements, the student work that they've done throughout this academic year. We always, in the fall, we do our media studies showcase where we get to see some examples of that work, but tonight we celebrate you. I want to thank, of course, President Parrish and Provost Greenwood for being here, and Dean Wang, and thank you, Professor Grasso, for that introduction. There was such an inspiring talk that David Elliot just gave, and you really need to take that away and think about the words, think about what he said, because that's really what it's all about. It's about wanting to be invited back. It's about wanting to be asked and be remembered for your contributions. So with that, I'd like to talk about our cinema studies concentration. We've got some awards tonight for several different courses. The first one I'm going to introduce is for language of film. This is one of the foundational courses in the concentration where we just go over exactly what it sounds like, the language of film, of the choices that the directors make, and not just the director, but also all of the other contributors, all of the other collaborators, because film is a collaborative medium. I like to, when I teach this course, go into some of the other areas that usually everyone thinks they want to write or they want to direct. And I like to talk about the production designer. They're putting everything that's getting up there on the screen. So this is a course, again, that really goes into the very foundation of cinema. So for our language of film course this year, Jesus Farias. So I'm going to call for everyone for that course, and then you could come on up. And we could take a photo. Julia Humes. I'm batting 1,000. Marion Lamona. Next is Hollywood's Golden Age. I like to think of this course as really like the history course within this concentration, because we look at the 20-year period from 1929 to 1949, and it's really when the film industry in this country really just rose and became that industry that David Elliot just mentioned, that, the film is the theater community, but here was the industry, and it was Hollywood was a factory town, and you had, just like you have GM and Ford and such, you had Warner Brothers, and you had RKO, and you had MGM, and each of the studios had its own brand. It had its own stars. And in this course, we look at that 20-year period through the lens of the Great Depression, through World War II, and then we take it straight up through the Cold War, and how the industry changed right after that, because that was the end of the Golden Age, and we see how everything went into independent production, and now we try to get a theatrical release for something, right? It's a very different industry. So for Hollywood's Golden Age, I'm going to call up a student who's going to be called up here a number of times. And I'm very, very sad that he's graduating this year because he's been in a number of my courses. Joel Rivera. And I mean, I'm sad that he's leaving, but I'm happy for him that he's leaving.
Thank you. You guys face this way?
Skip ahead. And the next class is one that I was so happy to introduce here to Mercy, and it's a course called Hitchcock Disciples. And I think of that when I named this course, it was really thinking, well, Hitchcock Disciples, well, who are Hitchcock's disciples? Well, yes, the filmmakers who he inspired, which I can't think of a single filmmaker who could honestly say they haven't been inspired in some way, shape, or fashion by his work. But also then you have the collaborators that he worked with throughout his career, and we play a lot of focus on his screenwriters in this course. But then the disciples are also the students of cinema studies, because cinema studies was kind of born in the 1960s as a discipline out of Hitchcock studies, out of Hitchcock suddenly becoming taken seriously as an artist. And so I like to continue that work, and the students in this course this semester, we're having a blast because we go to Alamo Drafthouse Cinema over in Yonkers. We arranged to have 3 movies screened there, so it's not just the students and me in one of the theaters, but we're there with a paying audience. So the students get to see the movie on a big screen, in a theater with an audience, and you get to experience it the way it was meant to be seen. So I invite you, the next screening that we're having is on Wednesday, May 6th at Alamo Drafthouse in Yonkers. We're screening Marnie at 7 o'clock, so mark your calendars and please join us that night. So for Hitchcock Disciples, Lee Saran, Joel Rivera, I told you he'd be back. Elijah Lagarde. Let's see. Wait, don't wait. Yesenia Estrada. Yeah, we got the shot. And last but not least, one of my favorite courses, they're all my favorite. And that's writing for film and television. This is the fundamentals course. The next course in the sequence is advanced writing for film and TV, so hopefully some of these students are going to come back and take that class. But here again, it's where now students get to tell their own stories, which is essential. As President Parris said, we're storytellers, and just to get students to feel creative and to work in a room that becomes like a real writer's workshop. We're workshopping material, students are reading their work, they're listening to the work of their peers, and then critiquing each other's work. And I think so much more goes on in the discussion part and what you take away. And I always tell the students in the course, like, don't necessarily take the suggestion, like, it's almost like, think of it as a prescription. It's more like, but it's a diagnosis. If someone points out something in your story that just didn't ring true or is leaving someone asking questions, that means you need to go back, because so much of writing is rewriting, of course, and that's what's constantly going on in this course. Students are constantly revising their scripts. So it's a very intense class, and we've got a great group of students this semester taking it, and I couldn't be more honored than to give out this award. Cindy Ramirez. Bet you guess I'm going to say Joel Rivera. His name again, right? Joel, come on up. And he's not here. Joaquin Lopez is not here. Thank you very much.
Okay, so media studies has a number of cross-listed courses with communication studies, and we also share faculty. And the faculty member I'm referring to is Professor J.H. Snyder. Please welcome our next presenter, Professor J.H. Snyder.
Hey, everybody. So the kind of storytelling that I am used to is a little bit of a different sort of bent, right? You know, it's still storytelling, but it's about kind of that hustle, right? Creative advertising, effective presentations. But at the heart of it, it really is about connecting the right message, the right story to the right person at the right time. And we use all the devices that we've been talking about tonight, sort of this idea of narrative arc, all of these techniques that we use that can be used to ask students to think critically about this and also persuasively in building their arguments. So the two courses I'm going to be talking about tonight are creative advertising and effective presentation, things that students can't just shove AI through, right? They have to be there, they have to participate. It's very sort of hands-on skills-based courses. So first, in effective presentations, students are asked to develop a skill that statistically, verifiably, people fear the most, right? Standing up in front of a group and speaking. In this course, students are asked to speak in public over and over. They're asked to do it while delivering theatrically engaging presentations full of facts and emotion. Altogether, their persuasive arguments, immersive visual designs, and dynamic narratives take the audience on a journey, introducing a new reality by asking a simple question, what if? And making that audience the hero of that presenter's engaging story. This year, several students are recognized for their exceptional ability to craft and deliver effective presentations. Their progressions throughout this course and ultimate mastery of the medium demonstrated great bravery, and through compelling final presentations that kept us hooked and asked us to envision a new way of looking at an idea. So, this year's honorees are Johnny Gutierrez Villa, Joaquin Lopez, I think we said he's not here. Hold on a second until we finish. Yep, we'll finish everybody. Joaquin, we've got Danielle Knight, who is also not here today. Tony Martinez. Erlen Skalstad. Brandon Wadsworth. You guys all did so great. So. And last but not least, Joanne Tamazara. Well done, guys. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, and second up, I mentioned creative advertising. Before teaching full-time, I had been in the industry for about 20 years, right? Working through understanding the impact of advertising on culture, but also culture's ability to influence the types of messages you see in advertising. And that's kind of where we start off in this course. Students in this class examine that impact, and beyond analysis, they are also asked to explore branded storytelling techniques of their own, which is not so easy to do when it's not just about your own creativity, it's about taking that creativity and then also speaking on behalf of a brand. They do this by identifying audience insights that craft messages and resonate with those audiences. They practice research, copywriting, design, and storyboarding to help illustrate concepts and invent new brands. Then, they design the integrated campaigns to launch them to the public through social media, print, outdoor, experiential, video, and more. All the while they're learning new types of technology, playing around with them, kind of experimenting and seeing what works. The interesting thing about it is that creative advertising is open to all majors. So we have people across all majors taking this course with no prior design or branding experience necessary. So it's stressed that a great idea that's an ad idea can come from just about anywhere and anyone, from those people who pay attention to the world, right, and the rhythms that go on. And this year we're recognizing students from across majors, not just for their great ideas, but for their insight and ability to tell great stories in new ways. So first, Victoria Green. Sophia Gill. Justin Fraticelli. Leah Dardy. Chiara Bianco Pertopapa. I think I said it right. And Joanna Tamaraza. Well done. Thank you all.
Theater performance classes have been in the curriculum for many, many years, but they really didn't pick up traction until this next person that I'm going to present to you to present the awards. But you already heard from him already. He's getting up, he's ready to go. Please welcome Professor Mark Palmieri.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Hi again. So I'm going to talk about just all 4 of those courses at once. They're acting classes. They differ in emphases. The project we might be working on, say, is monologues, speeches, soliloquies, scene work, a cohesive play, whatever it is that we might be working on. Why these are so important. Well, taking one certainly changed my life in college. I was majoring in baseball, really, when I was in college, and really wasn't taking myself very seriously as a brain, as a student at all. And it was when I was assigned, or just my advisor put me in an intro to theater course, and I had to see a play. I had to see a play, it was mandatory. And I think I was 21 years old. I'd never seen a straight play before. I'd seen a musical once a year before that, and it blew me away. And it's sort of like David's story about sitting in the back and discovering something new about yourself. I just knew I wanted to be a part of this somehow. And I took voice classes and then acting classes, and it really just changed a lot about how I felt about myself, my confidence and my ability to express something that might actually be meaningful, I wouldn't really recognize myself, I guess, if I hadn't taken those classes. So I guess I'm sort of promising the same if you take my classes. I'm a little risky, but they're acting classes, voice, movement, working with others, running a rehearsal process, and of course, when it comes down to it, performing in front of an audience. We get to do that soup to nuts in all of those classes in one way or another, depending on what the exact project is. The students that are being awarded the Quill Award tonight are students that just bring an incredible energy to the room, who work very hard to memorize, right? For those that are in the class right now, let's see how you guys are doing tomorrow in our tech run. And show up every time and are so reliable, and that their cast members can know that they're going to be there and be ready and be willing to try things, and of course speak to the entire big room with their theater voices. And I'm so proud of the work that they have done. Most of these students have taken some of them all 4 of the classes, and those are Introduction to Acting, Acting Workshop, Voice, Acting, and Voice, Character and Acting. Many of these students have taken all of them. And scene performance, I forgot the fourth one. And so I'd like to call up Alexis Flores Ramirez. Maylee Gromas. Jesus Farias, are you here? Are you here? You were here earlier. I know you had to go. Okay. Jesus, I love you. I'll give it to you tomorrow. Christopher Campos. Jasmine Bastaras. You got it. Oh, no. I didn't say it.
No.
How do I say it?
Don't ever.
You say no, because I have to say it again.
No.
Okay. Did I give you, you got two though, Jasmine, so. So did Christopher Campos. So did Jesus Farias. So did Alexis. And so did Maylee. Thank you very much.
One more time, 3, 2, 1. Got it.
Okay. We're moving right along. I'm Louis Grasso again. I teach television and videography. You know what I do. The awards I have here, the first award is for television, fundamentals of television production. In this class, students are working in a television studio for the very first time. They're learning all the production positions. They're learning how to direct, how to technical direct, how to assistant direct. They're learning how to run sound for video. They're learning how to run cameras. They're learning how to floor manage. They're learning how to set up lights. They're learning how to be talent in front of the camera. And this is all in one class. And it takes about 4 or 5 weeks for them to get up to par, get up to that point where we go work collectively as a group to start to produce shows. And that we do every semester. We produce 3-minute talk shows. And they're all doing the job that they're assigned to do. And they're relying very heavily on each other so they can do their job. And I have one award here for television, fundamentals of television production, and that is Janiyah Morgan. Don't go anywhere. Because the next award's for you too as well. Stay here. The next award I have is for television studio production. Now the difference in the classes is in level 1, students are working from an introductory script and an outro script. In level 2, they're working for complete scripted narratives. It's like a soap opera they're working with. Everything is scripted. The dialogue, the camera movement, the shot selection, everything is scripted like you would see on a regular soap opera or an evening television drama or something like that. So this next award goes to Janiyah Morgan, who is right here. Up next is this montage production course. During the pandemic, we weren't here, we weren't in person. We had to figure out what to do in which students can submit video online. And I started to think about, the basics, and I realized that, everything we see on television or in film or even on digital media, it's all segmented into packages. And those packages are called montages, okay? Like a collage is still photographs, a montage is a selection of moving video. But the first person to do this was way back in the early 1900s, Sergei Eisenstein. And he had 5 methods of montage. And those of you in the class know what I'm talking about. Metric montage, rhythmic montage, tonal montage, overtonal montage, and intellectual montage. So students in the class would produce these montages, 30 seconds long, that would upload it to our computer OneDrive folder. And what's good about that is there's really nowhere for them to hide because the folder is there. I come into the class, I open the folder, and we see what students uploaded, what work. But also becomes sort of like a healthy competition among students because their work is being presented in the classroom, in front of everyone else. And they know they have to produce something good because it's going to be shown in the class and everyone's going to watch it. But there are some people here that were really very good at it. Emily and Matthias is one of them, in fact. Where's Emily? Okay. And you're going to kill me. The next one is Cassidy Robidio. Did I say it right? Sir? Your father's going to kick my ass.
No, you did it right. He's not going to kick your butt.
Next, Elizabeth Garcia. There she goes. On this side?
Thank you.
Yes, Professor. Thank you. All right. Next up is Marion Labono. All right, ma'am. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to the last category is social media video. Social media video. Now, this is fairly a new course because of look what's going on. Everyone's producing video and uploading it to social media. So I thought to myself, we need something to understand the structure a little bit better. I look at the videos on social media, and some of them are really very good, but some of them aren't. And the reason is the narrative structure is off. The editing is not good. The sound is not good, or the lighting is not good. They don't, So we have to have a social media video production class. And so this is the first semester I did produce a course like this, and it really yielded some very, very good work. And a few awards here. Marion, you shouldn't have sat down. Come on up. Marion edits, she re-edits, and she re-edits and re-edits until she gets it right, and she's really right. And we use the same system like we use in the other course. We use a folder online where students have to upload their work on a weekly basis. And so we come to class and we open up the folder and we look at their names and we look at the work in the folders. And we determine if it's good or not, if it adheres to social media platforms. And we worked with 5 social media platforms. The first one was a YouTube video, which was a long-form video, which is about 10 minutes long. And then after that, you come back and we do a Facebook video, which is only about 2 minutes long. And then after that, you do an Instagram video, which is shorter than that, about 35 seconds long. Then after that, you do a TikTok video, which is even shorter. And the idea is to take the same video they shot in the big YouTube video, the 10-minute YouTube video, and recycle it into smaller packages. And that's what's done. And the last one is LinkedIn, and that's more of a business-to-business style video. And it takes what they're doing and think about it in much more of a way of earning a living or presenting themselves in such a way. And so we have Sophia Navarro is here. Alexis Flores Ramirez. This guy produced. Turn around.
Turn around. Okay, 3, 2, 1. There you go.
Alexis really broke out in this class. I didn't think he had it in him, but when I saw the work he was producing, and he totally opened my mind, opened my eyes. It was so energetic and creative, and the editing was spot on. I was really very happy he came across that way. Next up is Janaya Morgan. I think this is the last award for Janaya. What do you think?
There you go.
Okay. So now we're going back to the beginning. I see Professor Parada is in the audience, and Professor Parada teaches journalism. Professor Parada is the communication and the arts department chair. Professor Parada is the advisor to the impactnews.com. Professor Parada was late because he was coaching flag football. Professor, give him a broom and he'll sweep the room as well. So please welcome Professor Michael Parada.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for waiting. So, wow. I don't know if we need this. So my first impression of Nicole Acosta was that she had a beautiful soul. But man, she was just too darn shy. And I don't like that in my classroom. I remember talking to her after class, trying to get her out of her shell. I told her no matter how many skills you acquire in this business, you have to have one trait: confidence, and then you'll figure it out. Believe that you can do it, and believe that you belong. And belong she did. She opened up to her classmates. She opened up to me. She excelled in all of the classes. She became a valued member of the Impact, our school publication. She led not only by her work ethic, but also by her compassion. She's not only talented, she was also just a great person. She was easy to work with. She helped all her colleagues in any way she could, and she kept me in check when she needed to. I was checking some of our old texts for this conversation. The oldest one I have said, "So I'm pretty sure my knife-wielding story isn't going to make 600 words." And I gave her some tips. I told her to have confidence. She'd figure it out. A week later, she texted me back, "Knife-wielding story done." So I guess it was in her stars that she was born to be a crime reporter. She won 4 New York Press Association awards while at Mercy University, which is tied for the record. 4. She had a first place award for editorial writing on the Me Too movement, a second place for news reporting on an article titled "Opioids, an Epidemic Plaguing Westchester County," a third place award for her column Nick's Notables, where she talked about the gains and losses of friendship and some people's overbearing social media habits. And she'd win another award a year later writing about the concealed fear of women riding in cabs. Then reality hit. She graduated. Confidence loomed. She texted me if a company had reached out for a referral, and I said no. She said, "No one's giving me a chance." I said, "Keep your chin up. You'll figure it out." Well, my friend and former colleague gave her that chance at the Daily Voice, where for 2.5 years she cut her teeth calling sources, chasing stories, writing, grinding. My friend said, "If Mercy has more like Nicole, throw them my way all the time." Then a message to her LinkedIn changed her life. People magazine wanted her, not the other way around. That's not how this business works. We go after them. They don't come to us. But in Nicole's reality, it was different. They came for her. They wanted you to write crime stories. They said, "We want to write crime stories for us." Moved from a regional market to a national market. And then her life changed forever. She began writing crime and entertainment. She survived layoffs, a changing industry. She was partnering up with celebrities on the red carpet and regularly writing about serial killers. She kept me in the loop for the entire journey. She sent me clips from her first day at work. She texted me when she got her first print byline. And every now and then she would text me in a panic. So I'm in court in Idaho for the Vallow Daybell Doomsday murders. I sent her a question mark. I don't know what that is. She said, "We need to talk." So we talked. I told her, have confidence. She'd figure it out. And she did. She got through that and much more. Her wide range of crime coverage has never stopped. Then I find out she's on the red carpet. She's interviewing Brad Pitt, Morris Chestnut, Diane Lane, the cast of Jersey Shore and Squid Games. And yes, she goes to the after parties. I'm not going to tell you about what she does there. Her mother's here. I pushed her hard and she answered the call. If you want to know the secret to her success, I'm going to spare you the drama. It's simple. She wanted to learn, She had a rigorous work ethic. She never made excuses for herself. She believed she could do it, and sometimes with a little push, she believed it, and she did it. She has a great support system of her family, her friends. Does Liv here? Liv. So it warms my heart to know another Mercy alumna, fellow Impact veteran, and 3-time New York Press Association Award, Liv Myers here. So give Liv a hand for coming. It's great to know that they're still together, they're still close, they're still supporting each other. It's also a lesson for students about surrounding themselves with the right people who share their goals. Nicole's very humble too. When I talked to her last night, she said she was shocked she'd even be getting an award. Didn't I graduate yesterday? Time goes fast, I told her. But that speech, she said, I'm worried about giving that speech. I told her, have confidence. You'll figure it out. You always do. Ladies and gentlemen, your Mercy Alumni Award winner, Nicole Acosta. All yours.
Hi everyone. I was going to say what my name is, but it was said 5 times already, so we'll skip that. It's an honor to be here tonight accepting the Outstanding Alumni Award. Not too long ago, I was sitting right here where you all were sitting and accepting Quill Awards for my time on the school newspaper, The Impact. So it really feels like I've come full circle. It was here that I first realized how powerful storytelling could be. Not just as writing, but as a way to understand the world and give a voice to others. I still remember the first time I was in Parada's class. I answered a news reporting question hesitantly from the back of the room, very unsure of myself. But when I got it right, I was surprised, and he gave me a little shout out. So at that moment, something clicked. I knew this was something I wanted to pursue. That moment stayed with me long after, through my time in the school newspaper and beyond. Parada was always open and understanding. He helped me come out of my shell, as he explained earlier, while also giving me the constructive criticism I needed to grow. He taught me to trust my instincts, and that experience really sparked something in me that I've carried ever since through my time at Mercy College, now Mercy University, and into my career. Now I'm a staff writer at People magazine, where I've been for about 3.5 years. I primarily cover crime news, which, as you know, can be pretty heavy, but it's also incredibly meaningful work. At the same time, I've had opportunities to interview celebrities on red carpets, attend movie premieres, and just be in spaces I never thought I'd be in as a girl from the Bronx. I've also had an opportunity to appear in season 8 of People Magazine Investigates, which is a true crime docuseries that streams on HBO Max, so you can look me up right now after this. It's something I never could have imagined sitting in these classrooms. And my journey in journalism hasn't been a straight path. There have been challenges, tough stories, moments of uncertainty, but each one has reminded me why this work matters. Telling the truth, asking questions, and sharing stories that might otherwise go unheard is a responsibility I don't take lightly. Out of the hundreds of stories I've written, one has really stayed with me. It was about a father, an Army veteran in Washington State, who killed his 3 daughters during a court-approved visit. There was a months-long search for him, and his remains were eventually found not far from the scene. It's a really heartbreaking story, but it reflects a reality that many families face when someone is struggling with their mental health and help isn't always accepted. Reporting on that case taught me a lot. It taught me the importance of empathy, of giving people space, of approaching difficult conversations with care. It taught me that trust matters. Even when I was communicating through a family lawyer, being thoughtful in my approach helped build a relationship that led to meaningful reporting. It also reinforced how important teamwork is. While I was writing, another reporter was helping make calls and staying in close contact with local police, which ultimately helped ensure we were accurate as the story developed. So journalism isn't something you do alone. And even now, I'm still learning every day. I ask questions, I lean on my editors, and I try to grow with every story I write. But at the heart of it all, what drives me is this: telling stories that matter. Stories that inform, stories that connect us, and stories that can make someone feel a little less alone. To the students here tonight, ask questions, stay curious, and trust that your voice matters. I also want to thank my family and friends, especially my mom, for always supporting me, encouraging me, and believing in me every step of the way. She always used to tell me I asked way too many questions as a kid, so I guess this career worked out. Thank you again for this honor. It means a lot to come back here and see where it all began.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. We'll be quick. All right. Media, journalism, ever-changing world. It doesn't change every year, it changes every day. And we're figuring that out in the classroom, in between semesters, in between weeks. It's an industry that has always redefined itself through technology, through the world we live in, and nothing's different. The stories we tell are important. Our voices are important. There's people's stories that rely on you to tell them. And like I always say to a student like Nicole, you're going to get out of this what you put into it. If you want it, it's theirs for the taking. She's a great example for it. So thank you for coming back. It's great to see you. Okay, feature writing. What is it? Well, it's telling stories about people. It's telling stories about places. Doesn't mean it had to happen, the news had to happen yesterday. It can be something about an old museum. It could be about an old movie theater. It can be about a person who did something fantastic with their lives. It could be some person that you never heard of before. News reporting is kind of the step one. Everyone, it's the thing you have to do and you're expected to know how to do it. But feature writing is really where you get noticed. When you could tell a story and you can inspire people, whether it's something positive, something negative, you take them on the highs and lows, that's really where you get noticed in this industry. So we have two sections, feature one and feature two. We have students who are, their job is to, we read Pulitzer Prize winning stories, we read stories that didn't work, why did this work, why didn't this work, and then they create their own work. Their entire lives, people say, I want to write about what I want to write about. Well, guess what, guys? Here's the class. Now you have to go out, and you have to find the people, and you can't blame anybody else for giving you a topic you didn't like, because you're the one who picks it. So these students excelled in telling stories and creating a great portfolio for themselves. So our first is Susana Miguel Gutierrez. What do you mean? Cassidy Rabadou. And my best friend Elvis, and he tells me that I'm his favorite all the time. Correct?
Elvis, turn.
Come on, Elvis.
No, he's gonna be drama. You guys, he has to deal with this all the time. Turn. Sit. Bell. See, drama.
Jasmine Bashjawish. Hi, Jazz. Thank you, Jazz. Okay, so this next section was narrative storytelling. We talked about story arcs and through the world of podcasting. This was the first time we ran this course, and this was a lot of fun, and I think large experience for all of us. We kind of got in and then we started listening to what all these different podcasts are doing and how even the world of podcasting has changed in the last few years and what is the right way to do it? Well, I can't tell you, we don't know. Everyone's fighting out, everyone's trying something different. These students then had to create their own channel, create their own podcasts, and some of them really came out utterly amazing. Like, it was great to listen to. Our first is Antonio Perez, the cameraman.
Now get out of here. Get back to work.
Ariel De Jesus. He's making a podcast. Connor Abraham. Congratulations, sir. Okay, let's do sports reporting. Sports reporting. So we're diving into the industry. We're diving into telling stories through the lens of sports. And the opening line on the first day of sports reporting is, sports means nothing, yet it means everything. Everything on a sports field can pretty much parallel a shade of life. Failure, redemption, teamwork, lost opportunity. So we had a great class, analyzing stories, creating our own columns, writing our own feature stories. And here we go. Connor Abraham. Get out. Yesley Gabriela Rodriguez. Did you bring a coffee?
I got you.
Gabby is one of the founders of the Mercy Sports Network. We had a long discussion about how we're going to take that to the next level next year. So if you want to know who's behind that, that's Gab. Jesus Farias. How dare he? How dare he? Okay, new student for me, new perspectives. Says a lot of great things in class, creates a lot of great stories, and she's my favorite softball player on campus. Dylan Raya.
Hi, Bill. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our last one. Column writing. So this is an important one to me because this is really about expressing your own voice. And probably for the New York Press Association, no one has owned this category, like the Impact has owned this category over the past 10 years. So when I see a student or two who makes a column their own and it's really an expression of themselves, I always tell people no one is reading a column because they care what topic you're talking about. They're reading the column because of you. They're reading a column because of you. They're not reading what they're talking about. And if you go by that mentality, then you can have an audience for a very long time. So we have two winners tonight. I don't know if she's a tenant, Samantha Rosa. Samantha? Great column writer, but she was a fall graduate. And our last award of the night, with sidekick Elvis, Cassidy Robidou.
Are you gonna behave for a photo? Or are you gonna be?
Nope. He's a bad boy.
Oh.
So I've been telling Cass that I'm Elvis's favorite, and she says I'm wrong, but...
You got some big shoes to fill back in Buffalo.
Well, this is Westchester, and I'm from Jersey, so... I'll leave it to, as I say, the straw that stirs the drink, the man who put it all together every year, Professor Louis Grasso.
All right, I think it was a pretty good show. What do you think, huh? president and the provost stuck around, so I guess it's pretty cool, right? All right. The deans took the stage. We also want to thank David Elliot. We want to thank Nicole Acosta. I need to thank Elisa Dornbos, who helped immensely putting this whole thing together. She's back there. Wave, Elisa, wave. And the faculty for presenting all the awards. The faculty for presenting all the awards. And last but not least, the students and their families. This wraps up the 42nd Annual Quill Awards ceremony. Have a good night. One more announcement. I'd like to thank Joy Adim for playing piano for us. I forgot about Joy.